Welcome back to Peek Into Our Week. I'm Alexia, Director of Communications at Visit Colorado Springs, and I'm here with Kate.
Hi, I'm Kate. I am the content coordinator here at Visit Colorado Springs.
And Kate is also famously the face of our neighborhoods.
I suppose this is true.
So you may have seen them all over social media and everywhere and out in the community.
And if you haven't yet, after this episode, you will.
We are here to talk about our neighborhoods and areas, which is something we've been working to map and communicate out to our visitors and locals for a while now. So we're going to give you a rundown of what it is.
But first off, we got to give a shout out to Switchbacks Coffee, our sort of unofficial sponsor of the episode, and a great neighborhood coffee shop, which is why we thought it would be fitting to include them today.
Yes, so many cute neighborhood coffee shops all over. This one happens to be in East Downtown Shooks Run area, and it's fabulous. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to get started with what the heck is our neighborhoods and areas project. I know a lot of people aren't watching on video. You're probably just listening. So I will verbally walk you through what this thing is. So what you can do is go to visitcos.com/areas if you want to follow along. That's where you'll find our neighborhoods and areas hub. It has a lovely interactive map that is super cute. It was designed by a local designer.
Shout out Laura.
Laura Tiller of Ink and Bone is fabulous and made it so cute with little icons and things. So go check it out. Really user friendly. You can click around on 25 different neighborhoods and areas of not just Colorado Springs, but the whole Pikes Peak region. So that's El Paso, Teller, and Fremont counties. And then there's also a little toggle for just the downtown snapshot, which has 4 different districts of downtown. So it's really cool to play around with, to click on maybe neighborhoods you haven't heard of before or that you know and love and kind of want to see if there's anywhere more to dig into. Each one that you click populates open an entire page dedicated to that spot. So lots to explore and do. And then we've got content to go along with it.
Yes. So on those pages, you'll find not only restaurant recommendations and kind of things to do, cool history, cool annual events of that neighborhood. At the top, most of them at the moment, eventually all of them, will have a video. You will see me in them. And these videos are just kind of an overview of like what you can expect in that neighborhood. I am going out to do the fun things and be in the fun places in the neighborhood. And sometimes there's also cool history, cool things to do in those. So you'll find those on the pages themselves. But if you've been following our social media, you will have probably noticed that we are posting one of those every single week. We have been for the past 5 weeks.
Today?
5 weeks sounds about right. And we will be continuing to do so since there are 25 neighborhoods. It will be 25 weeks of, or a little less than 25 weeks actually, through the end of the calendar
year. Before the holidays, we'll have highlighted all of them on our channels. And we're saving them all as a highlight button on our Instagram too. So if you want to quickly find where those are, you can just go to that highlight button and watch them all, or on our YouTube you can find them all too in a playlist. So lots of ways you can access the information, and we want to give you guys some background on how this thing even came to be, because we've gotten questions already in the first 5 weeks of doing this of like, how did you guys decide what to feature and what to highlight on the pages and how you describe this neighborhood? Like, did y'all just make it up? And
we did not. It took such a long amount of planning and time and thinking very hard and having many conversations, which will kind of take you through that process. Yeah. But yeah, it was not just we'll call this neighborhood this. And we'll just kind of throw some words over there. No, it was many, many people were consulted.
Yes. So this has been a long time coming. It actually, the very seed of this idea started several years back when we really wanted to find a way to showcase different neighborhoods people aren't as familiar with. And kind of like how in Denver people know, like, oh, I can go to Rhino for these cool like arts and culture experiences or shopping districts and things like that. So we wanted to have something similar, and we had the idea, but then didn't really have the funds or resources to be able to execute on it. So we waited a few years, and then we were able to get a grant through the Colorado Tourism Office And that is how we were able to make this project happen this year. So that's the funding behind it. And then phase 1, which was the whole first quarter of this year, was all research and planning. So you want to walk people through, like we went to school for this.
Yes, we
actually.
So I think the very, very first step was we sat down and we were like, okay, what are the neighborhoods? What are the areas? And that list is not the same as the final list, but we just as a team kind of wrote this stuff out. And we were like, okay, cool. Now let's identify some people we might want to meet up with from these areas. So we found like business owners and folks who work with neighborhood associations and just prominent people in each community that we could sit down and talk with. But before we did those interviews, me and Alexia actually did a class about community mapping and interviewing at UCCS. It was just a really nicely
our
timed
local
class.
University happened to be holding this Saturday course, and it just like we didn't expect that to be a thing.
Yeah,
and we're like, wait, we need to go and do this.
And it was super, super informative and helpful. So our friend Kelly from over at Hey Neighbor, hi Kelly, she was the one who like sent this class our way because she was in the know about the project. And yeah, it was super, super informative. And then after that, we got together our interviews with, again, prominent people in the community. So 25 different kind of sets of interviews. And so we learned so much fascinating history, found out so much about so many things we didn't already know, even in the neighborhoods that we were really familiar with. And that is sort of how we decided, like, okay, what are we going to call this?
Yeah.
What are we going to want to feature? What are kind of the must-see neighborhood spots, even if we didn't already know about them? Those are the people to give us all that information, which was super helpful.
Yeah, we took so many notes, and then it was the process of actually creating the web pages, which how are we going to structure this in a way that gives everyone who's using the resource what they need, but it's structured and it's not overwhelming. So there are jump links on all the pages. So if you're like specifically looking for food and drink, you can go right there versus activities versus like events and things. So we think it turned out like in a nice organized way. Hopefully.
I think it's pretty good.
But yeah, that was what went into it. It was a ton of community involvement, locals input, and experts that really shared with us. This is how locals see this area of town.
Yep. And so we had all the pages made, we launched the map, and then we got started on the video content because, as you can imagine, 25 videos is so much content.
Yes, it's a lot to go around the entire region.
It is so much. Shout out to Gray Warrior from Aho Media, who is the one taking the video and editing the video and doing such an incredible job. But yeah, so we just use the information that we found from these pages to kind of inform, like, where would we want to film? What would we want to show off? What do we want to say about this area in about a minute or less? So that was kind of the process. As of recording, we have 7 neighborhoods left to film. Like we said, we have 5 that are
live,
or 6 maybe. But yeah, we are chugging along, almost done with the filming part. And if you are watching this and it is still 2025, then it's very likely that there are some that have yet to roll out. So stay tuned.
Yeah, there's more coming, so much more. I want to talk before we cap this off of what were some things that you learned that were like most unique discoveries or surprising to you.
Yeah.
Like I have a few standout places that now I feel like are special to me because of all I learned.
Yeah. So for me, one of the neighborhoods that I conducted interviews for was Edo, aka East Downtown, which is just kind of the east half, kind of quieter part of our downtown area. And in this area is the Shooks Run neighborhood, which I actually grew up in. And I thought, I kind of know everything because I lived there for a decade or whatever. But I learned so much. The neighborhood association taught me about a lot of the history. I actually hadn't known that Shooks Run Trail, which runs along the creek, was a railroad at one point, which I thought was super interesting. So that was fascinating. Fannie Mae Duncan, who was a very prominent historic figure in Colorado Springs, lived in the Shooks Run neighborhood, and a bunch of like the biggest names in jazz stayed with her because she ran the Cotton Club, a jazz club that was in downtown Colorado Springs. Yeah, so fascinating, especially because the neighborhood is so like quiet and chill. You wouldn't expect that there was so much going on at a certain point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one too. And I love that you talked about one where you grew up, but still learned a lot. For me, and this is funny because this is one of the interviews I did. I like that we
Yeah.
kind of latch on to the ones that we did a lot of research into. But Security Widefield was such a surprise to me. The only thing I knew about it really was like the big water tower that says security on it that you kind of see when you're driving east. But it's a little incorporated slice of town right between Colorado Springs and Fountain. And there's so much there, like packed into this little small radius, like that you wouldn't expect. So Venatucci Farm is one of them, which does pumpkin patch every year, and it's where Gather Mountain Blooms is and does like the flower fest and all that.
Go pick flowers at Gather Mountain Blooms.
Such a great spot. And I didn't know the history behind Nick Venatucci, who was known as the Pumpkin Man back in like the 50s, because he would give pumpkins out to all the kids.
So
and
sweet.
So like that little bit of history, and he's got like a sculpture downtown with him and pumpkins, and so that was really cool to make that connection that I didn't know about. They have like a super cool music venue there, Sunshine Studios. Yeah, so that's a super cool spot that I hadn't heard of either. I learned about Bluestem Prairie Open Space, where
it is so beautiful.
It's like miles and miles of trails.
We went to film for Security Widefield just last week, and so I got to visit all of these places, and oh my gosh, so cool.
Yeah,
especially Bluestem Prairie Open Space. I want to go back to spend more time because there's over 200 species of bird that live there. So
bird watchers
dream. Go watch some birds, my friends.
Yeah, but that area just has like a lot. There's a lot more on the page. Like there's a place where you can get snow cones filled with ice cream inside.
I also went there for filming, and I cannot recommend it enough. Colorado snowballs.
Yeah, so anyway, Security Widefield, go there. It's super cool. I don't know. I was surprised by so many different spots, though.
Totally.
Yeah. You have anything else that you want to highlight or shout out?
I will always shout out Nob Hill because a lot of my favorite like arts venues are there, but also in researching, and also kind of because I already hang out there quite a bit because there's great music venues and art galleries in the area. But there are some crazy good restaurants. Aurelita's Cuban cuisine. Go there, get yourself a Cubano. It is crazy good. Bunzies, Beers and Brews, pizza and Bunzies. If you haven't heard of them, go do your own independent research and come back to me. But yeah, great food along with great arts. So
cool. Well, there's a lot to explore, so hopefully this gets people excited to go check it out. And if anyone has like things you want to share as you browse the resource on the website or see Kate's videos on social media, like anything you learned or that you thought was surprising or cool, like we'd love to hear it. So media@visitcos.com. Email us.
Give us a little email.
All right. That's all I got. Thank you, Switchback, for the delicious drinks.
Thank you. Go to visitcos.com/areas to check out the map and look around. So,
bye.
Bye.